flash up the daily faceoff lines then, because it'll give us a nice little visual here on what we're dealing with in terms of the roster crunch. I would say 11 of those spots are locked in, right? Obviously, those guys in the top 6. Obviously, that third line, Dylan Holloway, Derek Ryan, those guys are all making the team. The Oilers, because of the cap crunch, and we'll talk about Bouchard's new deal in just a second here, now that we really know how much money they're dealing with, they're not going to be able to do anything more than 12 forwards, 7D, and 2 goalies on the roster. So there is one spot up for grabs. You outlined the names: Lane Peterson, Raphael Lavoie, Sam Gagner, Brandon Sutter. I don't think Drake Caggiula's really in the mix, but I guess you never know.
Yeah.
Can Gagner grab that last spot and be because if you're going to make the team, you need to be an everyday forward. I don't think it's a stretch, but here's kind of the issue. Sam Gagner needs to make such a strong case to crack this lineup that the team's okay with waiving Raphael Lavoie. And that's where it's a little bit like, ooh, like if he outperforms Lane Peterson and Lane Peterson's got to go on waivers, like with all due respect to Lane Peterson,
whatever.
No one's losing any sleep over that decision. If the Columbus Blue Jackets pick him up on waivers, it's in all likelihood not going to change the Oilers season. Mm-hmm. Do you want to risk losing a piece like Lavoie, who you've spent how many years developing, second round pick, all that stuff? Do you want to risk losing him just to keep Sam Gagner on this roster? I don't know.
I would suggest probably not. I have a question, Tyler. I don't know the answer. Is Vincent Desharnais waiver eligible?
I'll pull up their cap friendly here in just a second.
Sending him down on a permanent basis, but maybe the Oilers can just get kind of clever with things here, right? Like Broberg's going to be able to go up and down, and by up and down, I mean basically sit in the stands when he's in Bakersfield, and that's how maybe you can rotate your roster a little bit so you don't have to sacrifice a Lavoie, for example, if you want to keep a Gagner or a Pedersen, whoever it may be. Like maybe that's a way they can kind of juggle around with the money.
So Desharnais does need waivers. Marcus Niemelainen needs waivers. Broberg does not. But this all circles back, Liam, to the cap crunch, right? And the roster crunch. You can only keep 21 players on the roster because of how little cap space you have. So Desharnais, you probably don't want to put him through waivers. Niemelainen, you're okay with. Are you coming to this from the perspective of, do you keep 6 D-men and then have 13 forwards?
Essentially, and then you kind of run the risk of when you need Broberg, you send down Gagner, kind of like what you did with Devon Shaw last year, right? Yeah. You never really go to Bakersfield, but you're on and off the team.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the danger with only keeping 6 D-men on the roster is, what if someone gets sick? Are you going to play a game with 5 defensemen? Versus if you keep going 13-5 is a lot different than going 11-7, right?
No, yeah, but I'm suggesting that Broberg is still with the team, just not technically on the team. Like he's still there, and then when you go to 7 defensemen, you just send down Gagner. We're hypotheticals here that Gagner actually takes the team out of camp.
Yeah, the league. Yeah, and right, it is a hypothetical. I don't think you're going to get away with that. I think you probably just need to make a decision at some point. I'm just, again, kind of scanning over the Oilers roster right now. Like they have 13 forwards listed on their cap friendly right now with both Peterson and Lavoie. So like, again, you mix Gagner into there. Only one of them is going to stick. You're probably going with 7D. Maybe it's not Broberg making the team. Maybe Marcus Niemelainen is your 7th D. I think that's probably a competition that's going to be open come training camp. Probably ties into another awkward conversation of like, man, if Philip Broberg doesn't make this team over Marcus Niemelainen, what are you going to do? But I do get what you're saying with it's just a paper transaction, but I think you could do that for a week. I don't think you could do that for 2-3 months, right? I think at some point you need to kind of make your decision. Tyler Mulick says, if Derek Ryan gets waived, would he even report to a team if they pick him up? I think Derek Ryan probably would, because he's got another year on his deal. He's got $1.6 million he can be making. Would Sam Gagner do that? I don't think so. Remember when Jason Spezza went on waivers a couple of years ago and he kind of let it be known to every team he's retiring if you claim him? Yeah. Maybe Sam Gagner does that same thing. I don't know.